What's up, Busters? Today we're going to delve into how to play Baxia, a very versatile tank that is sure to annoy the enemy team and is a great counter for heroes that heavily rely on healing effects. Baxia's passive makes him a very tanky hero on the early game because all damage that Baxia receives is reduced by 25, so this is a big advantage over heroes that rely on small but fast damage like Claude and Kimi. His second skill is called Shield of Spirit, where he throws a shield on a straight line and stops when a jungle creep or an enemy hero is hit. A very powerful harassing tool. This skill could be spammed every second or so as long as it hits an enemy or a creep. With this skill, Baxia could easily chip away the HP of enemies, making him a great harassing hero. Also, using this skill could be very useful in the early game to help the carry with the jungle monsters or even try to steal the enemy buffs. His other passive grants him the ability to reduce the regeneration effects of enemies hit by his skills by 30% for 4 seconds, giving him the passive ability of Necklace of the Runs right from the start of the game. Very useful passive that makes him a great counter for most of the heroes on the current meta. His first skill, called Baxia Shield Unity, turns him into a rolling wheel, allowing him to travel faster. A very handy tool for defending lanes and catching up to ganks and teamfights. A quick note, try hitting the enemies while jumping. This results to more damage and also a longer stun duration. His ultimate is called Tortoise Prisons. This gives him increased movement speed, slows enemies, and further increases the damage reduction from his passive. With this skill, he becomes very tanky and very annoying, allowing him to soak up a lot of damage and chase enemies on the back line. Use this together with the spell Vengeance and for sure, the enemies would have a hard time eliminating him. For the equipment builds, I think these three would fit well for Baxia. However, in my opinion, the best thing about being a tank user is that there really is no best build for tanks. Usually, you just need to remember one item that synergizes with the skills of the character. Then all other equipment you pick is to counter the damage output of the enemies. Very important thing to remember though, buy the mask first so that you could accompany your carry without taking their XP and gold. Remember, no sacrifice, no victory. The first item, Courage Mask, is important for two reasons. Max Roam item gives more gold and experience every 4 seconds than just the basic mask. And since you want Baxia to be in the middle of most team fights and accompanying the core often, this item boosts your allies' overall stats, further helping them to farm faster. For boots, I went for warrior boots since, based on the enemy team composition, the only magic damage dealer I have to look out for is Esmeralda, and as of the moment, her damage is still manageable. With regards to the one item I was talking about earlier, I find that Brute Force Breastplate is that go-to item for Baxia. Perfectly synergizes with Baxia's spammable second skill. Every time it hits an enemy, Baxia becomes tankier and faster. This will give enemies a nightmare when trying to eliminate you. Since magic damage output of the enemy team is not that strong, I went for Cursed Helmet. Since Baxia is holding up fairly well against the enemy damage, I could opt to go for a more offensive tank. I noticed that the enemies are still struggling to eliminate me, which is a sign for me that I am on the right path with the equipment I currently have. So, I decided that I would buy Ice Queen 1, an item that fits well with Baxia's ultimate, further slowing all the enemies that walk over it. Keep in mind, I was only able to build this because the enemy damage output is not that high yet. If their damage dealer is more fed, I would have bought Dominance Ice instead. For the finishing touch, I was aiming for Immortality. Overall, Baxia is a viable tank, high defense while also being able to bully the enemy team, making him a good distraction while allowing other teammates to get a better position when engaging in team fights. See how Chipu makes the most of these opportunities with his Kagura by finding a good location to eliminate the enemies. The only downside of Baxia is his lack of good crowd control skills, which means he is not a good initiator for team fights. It would be good to select a hero that has good crowd control skills to make up for this flaw. A perfect pick by Louis going for Gatot Kacha, with his ultimate that covers a large area and his taunt skill. And that's it! Thank you for always watching our videos, Busters! In case you still have not subscribed, please like and subscribe for more tutorials and builds. See you on our next video! By the way, all the people that commented on our past videos, thank you very much for all the support.